Hello, Centennial Middle School teachers. This is a presentation that goes over some of those common Schoology standards that we started this fall, and now with the new semester have the opportunity to sort of tighten up based on how it's working for students and staff. So admin and teachers have come up with some tight and loose standards and guidelines that are really, again, similar to what had been published in the fall. So basically, this presentation is going to provide a tight slide, some loose suggestions, and then a few examples of what you're already doing, as well as a couple how-tos. So I'll just start with the tight standards. So if you can see, there's really two pieces to this. One is the order in which students would be able to find something on their course page, as well as common language. So titling each of these in a common way so that students who are viewing, 6 different courses can kind of intuitively understand what they need to do immediately. And really, it's not just students looking at this, but it's also counselors, case managers, parents, and students who often have to find and figure out 6 different puzzles. This aligns it so that it is easier for them. So the first one would be an announcement, publishing something at the top that just clearly, explicitly states what students are to do each day in your class. And this could really take 3 different forms. So I'm just going to go down to the bottom here. And you'll get a copy of this slideshow with all these additional links on how to do these things, just a quick video. But one option might be posting an agenda. So that would be something replicating what you typically do on your whiteboard, probably each day in in-person learning. So what are the, step 1, 2, 3 for the day, maybe some resources you reference, any due dates, upcoming assessments. Another option might be to post your actual Google Slides. Again, many teachers in a in-person setting like to post these, project these at the front of the room with learning targets and their agenda and due dates at the front of the board. And there's a really easy way to be able to post those slides so that you could just simply update your slide each day. And so students would know what to do. And again, at the end of this video, I can show you how to do that. And then the final way would be to have sort of that standard announcement that's always published at the top of your page, but again, is very explicit. Step 1, what do you click on? Step 2, where do you go? Step 3, what folder will you find the work in? Just so, again, students, parents, counselors can come exactly to your page and know just what to do. All right, so that is the first tight standard, is that announcement at the top of the page. The second piece is looking at what's posted in materials. So the top material posted should be that week at a glance that many of you have been using all year with your team or individually. Again, the common language would be week at a glance. If it is a team calendar, maybe week at a glance team calendar. The second, and I have a few tight and loose standards for those week at a glance pieces too, and we'll get to that in the next slide. The next one would be your Google Meet with the teacher. And then the third one would be your folders with the information or the activities that students are completing for that day or that week. And the one agreement we kind of had talked about was, even though, as teachers, our generation kind of learned to read top to bottom, in this new generation of students, they're working with social media all the time. The newest is always up at the top. So making that easy to find, they don't have to scroll to the bottom of your page, just have that newest folder at the top. And making sure it's that consistent layout of a unit and a date so that they know what to study and when to do it. So looking at week at a glance standards, there are a number of examples in the slide of just really great ones that different teams have been using and putting together. But overall, sort of collectively, some of the tight pieces would be to obviously have a date, and whether you have 2 different calendars or you specify, if you're still in a hybrid situation, which dates are when, for students to complete assignments. You'd have your learning objective and your topic somewhere. The specific assignments. So this was one thing that wasn't necessarily on all team pieces, but really getting specific with what assignment and then matching those specific assignment titles to your Schoology titles so that parents, again, could more easily find things. And then any upcoming assessments or due dates, however you denote that, is really helpful for parents, counselors, students. And then again, as you've always been doing, posting by 8 a.m. Mondays. Some of the loose features that seem to be helpful is color coding some of those due dates, providing links to resources, and then even some teachers have put on, schedule is subject to change, which makes sense because you're learning along with students and seeing where they're at and if they need an extra day of instruction, et cetera, before an assessment. So once again, you can kind of page through these really great examples and see what seems to work best for your team and how you want to publish that to parents. Just to jump into a couple live examples, this one is sort of replicating that potential for the middle school. So the week at a glance, the Google Meet with the teacher, the most current unit folder you're working on. Within that folder, then you can put it in whatever order you want. And if it is in chronological order, that makes sense, especially if you're doing the completion rules. One tip though, if you are adding folders, obviously if you go up to the add materials here, it defaults to adding it to the bottom. When you hover, you see a little green line here that they call, Schoology calls the magic green line, but you can go over to that green plus symbol and it allows you to add a folder right there exactly where you want it to go so that you don't have to, add the material and then drag it up to the top. So that is one little tip. The other tip is just in terms of putting in that announcement at the top. So you would go to updates. It does also post as an update, as you can see in here, and would show up in their normal announcements as they always see every day, but it would be pinned to the top of the page. So in order to do that, I'll just quickly remove this and show you how that could work. So for instance, if you just type in your agenda, before you click post, if you click on the bell, it will post up to the top, and there it is, and it would be on every page. If I jump to the materials page, it's there, and back to the updates page. And then, of course, it's also down here in my updates. If I were to delete it from updates, it would, also delete it from here. So the other, if you were looking to do the Google Slide option, that is where, again, you go to the updates, you go into your resources, and you'd want to make sure you already have that slideshow set to go, have your apps, your Google Drive, and then this will always pick out, whatever presentations you've recently been using. And mine, for instance, was the one that we're looking at right now. And you would go to import embed. So that's the option here. And then it will pop the presentation into the screen or the slides right there, and you can make it a little bit larger. You'd still want to post it as that announcement and then post. And then once again, it is posted as an announcement, which whenever you change that top slide, it will automatically change the view within Schoology live as a live document. So you wouldn't have to repost the announcement, just keep the slide up to date. Hopefully that helps you in terms of just, again, kind of aligning the way Schoology pages look, which really will help with students, parents, counselors, case managers, teachers, anyone supporting students as they navigate Schoology.